Hey, kings, queens, and everything in between. Welcome back to another episode. One time for a good time. And in today's video, we're actually going to be talking about something a little bit more serious. Something that needs to be talked about and needs to be addressed. Everybody knows, if you listen to this, DMX has allegedly overdosed it and is now in a vegetative state in the hospital fighting for his life, and he's on life support. I was debating on if I was going to do a disclaimer, a trigger warning, when I turn on the mic. If you know me, I always do that when it comes to sensitive topics like this. With alcoholism, abuse, etc. But in today's episode, I decided this is not something that I'm going to give a disclaimer. You guys need to hear this. We need to talk about it. I don't want to be in a position where I put a disclaimer at the beginning of the episode and people just immediately click off and not hear what I have to say. So I'm not going to do that in this episode. We're going to talk about alcoholism. We're going to talk about mental health. We're going to talk about disease. It is affecting so many people every single day. And I want to use this episode to talk about it. Alright guys, before I got into this episode and recorded this episode, I did some research. How I love to do things from the statistics side of it and just from my opinion. I actually learned some things I didn't know. Apparently, approximately 15 million people suffer from alcoholism. And that can stem from many reasons, depending on if they're drinking from past traumas, or if they're in college and they're just drinking a drink. There's many reasons why people become alcoholics every day, why people use drugs every day. A lot of people use drugs to forget. A lot of people use drugs because it makes them a different, quote unquote, better person. A lot of people use drugs because, it's out there in the media. If you hear a song every day talking about popping perks, you will get the instinction to be like, hey, I wonder what that feels like. I wonder what it's like to take LSD. I wonder what it's like to have a Molly. So there's all these different demographics using drugs in different ways for different reasons. Going back to DMX, if you are a follower, I don't even think you need to be a follower to know him. If you listen to his music before, DMX from damn near a kid was struggling with drug use, with battling, having this inner battle with himself. And that was, either from growing up in a different environment, not having guidance or love like the next person. And he talks about this in his own interview. So this is why it makes me positive to talk about this. Especially, losing his grandma, rest in peace, Queen. All these things had an impact on his drug use. He also said him being big, him being the biggest of all time at one point in life, get you excited, give you this adrenaline rush to use drugs, to keep pumping, to keep going. It makes you want to forget yourself. It makes you, people with depression, people with anxiety, people with mental illness, people that are just going through things. Let's just talk about that. Let's just talk about life for a moment. Can we just talk about that? Forget the statistics. Forget all the numbers. Let's talk about why us as humans are put into these positions to use alternative things to make us feel better, to make us feel seen, to make us feel like we're something. There's some people just chasing the high. How high can I get? How good of a feeling can I get? There's other people that have so much trauma, have so much dead weight on them, that they see a substance that will take their mind off it for a couple minutes, couple hours, hell, even a couple days. and they continue to use it. Some people, drugs are just a game. Some people, drugs are life. Addiction is real. When you get to a point where you waking up and you're shooting up before you even brush your teeth, or you've drunk so much in your life that you're a functioning alcoholic and you can work and you can do everyday tasks and not fall off or not look drunk. Those are the crazy ones to me, is when you can use drugs for so long to the point where people can't even tell that you're on them. There was this lady I used to work with. She had a gallon gym work bottle, filled it up with vodka every single day, and she drank it throughout her whole shift, and she was damn near our best employee. She was drunk the whole shift. She did everything she needed to do. She did everything right. She never messed up, but she was always drunk. There's millions of more stories like this out there. There's millions of more people that are either working class people using drugs or homeless people on the streets using drugs. And it's sad. It's sad. Let's say there's people that got into a car accident one day, hurt their elbow, banged up their elbow. The doctor describes some opioids. They get hooked on them opioids. Now they're taking those constantly, going back to the pharmacy to ask for more pharmaceuticals. Going back to the pharmacy saying, hey, my arm still hurts. Hey, my back still hurts. Knowing it doesn't hurt, but they just want that high. There's so many times in our lives where we just want to be something that we aren't. But we wake up and we might not like what we see. We might not like the environment. Imagine waking up every day and all you hear is gunshots. Imagine waking up every day and you're in a minefield, or you're waking up to an abusive husband or abusive family, or you're gay and you're suppressing the feelings you have, or etc. There's millions of scenarios, but just waking up, millions. 1 in 4 people wake up and don't like themselves. We can stand in a room packed full, and half of the people in that room, more than half actually, are going to hate themselves, are going to have some internal infliction with themselves. So it leads to drinking. Oh, that one night when I was in college, I drank so much I became confident. That one night in my sorority, we drank so much and I became a person I'd never seen before. I like that person. Let's stay that person. Oh, I was abused. I don't want to think about the times that person hit me. Let me drink some more. Let me do everything I fucking can to not be me. And these beautiful people end up dying, end up hurting others, end up having seizures, heart attacks, overdosing, because they can't stop. They can't stop that rush of just wanting relief, wanting to be different, wanting to be seen, love. I don't know. Me personally, I grew up and, I had a couple alcoholics in my family. I'm sure that's normal with a lot of families out there in the world. So I've seen it firsthand. That uncle coming around that's always drunk, tipsy, falling over everybody, drinking all nights at a time. You know what I'm saying? That distant cousin coming around, geeked up, cracked up. I've seen it all. Seeing how these people walk, seeing how they relied on this drug to keep them up, to keep them living, to keep them going in life, bothered me. It truly fucking bothered me. So it drove me to never do drugs myself. Now, I'm not saying that I never had a shot. I'm not saying that I never smoked weed. But what I am saying is, I never, ever in my life did something like that because I knew what it would cause. I knew the addiction it would come from. Hell, look at the opioid epidemic. Look how many people that took. Look at the crack era. Look at all the historical facts where people have died. People have been, given these drugs by the government or whoever. And look at the effect they had. People fiending, people walking in the streets naked, people going into crack, shooting up, getting AIDS from each other because they want a high. It's just, when I look at DMX and I look at a king that I grew up listening to, I'm talking about when I was at my worst in depression. I play his song Slippin' out to Rough Riders to whatever, and you listen to his songs and you hear how sad, how much obstacles he went through. And then you get to a couple days ago, DMX hospitalized, allegedly overdoses and have heart attack, on life support in vegetative state. You scroll through Instagram and you see the Rough Riders outside of his hospital blasting his music. You see the unity and you think all of this could be avoided. But to him, or to anybody in this situation, it's inevitable. I always say in my episodes, money, fame, whatever you think is happiness, whatever you think that's a good life might not be a good life. Look at DMX. He had fucking everything. The houses, the cars, the whatevers. But growing up and having nothing, growing up and being in a bad environment, growing up and doing drugs, he couldn't see it. Those cars, those houses, that property, wherever he owns or has, means nothing. Because he's in a vegetative state fighting for his fucking life. Because his demons clawed at him and got him. There's many more artists out there that can attest to this. Juice WRLD. Now rest in peace to him. Like, I understand he swallowed his drugs to hide them from the police. That's different. But at the end of the day, he was going to use them. There's hundreds, thousands of cases where it is shown, it is a fact, that happiness, your mental health, doesn't come from being rich. It doesn't come from being famous. It doesn't come from money or whatever you think it comes from. It comes from within. You could be sitting in a mansion going through a thunderstorm. You could be sitting on a private jet going through hell. That's what these people, I can't personally speak on the alcoholism side. Like I said, I can give my experiences of what I've seen growing up. But I can't speak on the mental health side. I can speak on the depression, on the anxiety side. I don't care how big of a house I'm in. I don't care where I'm at. If I'm going through shit, I'm going through shit. That's period. There's no, oh, I'm on top of a mountain. Oh, I'm in a 35-bedroom home, 15-bedroom home, and I'm happy. If I got fucking depression or anxiety, that shit's just gonna be there. And that's how it is when it comes to addiction, when it comes to mental illness, or when it comes to many of the bad fucking things out there in the world. If you are struggling with those demons are gonna be with you wherever you go. And I think People always give off the perception once you make it, you're good. Once you get to the top, you're good. Look at Robin Williams, like I said in the before episode. He had everything. He was at his prime. And the king killed himself. Many other artists killed themselves. Many of other artists overdose. Too many people associate something with happiness when it's really within yourself. I remember one day I was walking down the street and a homeless person was excited. I sat outside talking to him. I wasn't doing anything that day. I was like, hey, how you doing? Gave him some money. And another guy walked by and said, yo, man, why are you so happy? And the homeless man turned to him and said, the reason I'm so happy, the reason I have so much joy in my heart is because I woke up today. And the guy said, what do you mean by that? And the homeless man said, I woke up and many people didn't. I woke up today and many of my friends didn't. He was happy about life. He didn't, I don't want to say he didn't care about having money, but that was his priority. His priority wasn't fame. At that moment in time, he was happy that he was breathing, that he was living, that he just existed. That he had his name. That he had a sense of self. There's too many of us walking around on this planet that have a name, that have possessions, that have a life, that have friends and family, but it's hard to be seen. It's hard to feel human. It's hard to feel like you're worth something, especially through the homeless perspective, when you literally have nothing and when society degrades you because of your position. Sometimes all you have is your name. Now imagine if you're the top star of the world, you're the biggest thing out there, and you can't enjoy that. You can't love that because you're fighting with these demons inside of you. You can't see the happiness that's supposed to come your way, the love. You know what made me cry is when I saw the Rough Riders outside of the hospital blasting his music, and I said, he probably can't even hear that. He probably can't even hear the love that these people have for him, all because of what? A shot? A blunt? Heroin? Whatever, I don't know. That's why when it comes to mental health, when it comes to alcoholism, when it comes to all these fucked up things that human beings go through, be easy on yourself. There's too many times in a day where we hate ourselves. For the past couple of days, I'm guilty of this. I have to be perfect. I have to do this. I have to do this. I have to do that to make it. I have to do that. And I'm like mentally fucking killing myself, running myself into a wall because it won't happen. Now I'm talking to those people that want everything to be great, that they can't fail. I can't fail. Look at Ronda Rousey. All she known in her life was being a champion. All she ever known in her life was being great. The moment she failed, the moment she lost a fight, she became suicidal and tried to kill herself. She quit fighting altogether. There's too many people on this planet that feel like they need to be perfect, that feel like they need to be at a certain tier or they'll fail. I have a family member that drags themselves through mental illness because they want so much for themselves. And it pains me because they don't see that them constantly working, they don't see that them constantly stressing out is a bad thing. All they see is, I'm going to make it. I'm going to make it. If I do 35 hours a day, I'm going to make it. I'm going to be okay. And I tell them, I said, you're going to kill yourself. People don't realize if your mind wants to stop, if your mind wants you to go, it's going to tell you. Your mind can only hold so much. It's only going to take so fucking much. And your mind is the thing that gets you up. Your mind and your heart. That is you. Your brain is you. So you think you're going to get out here and do 35 hours a day and try to fit it into a 24-hour span. It's not going to work. If your brain is telling you go to sleep and you're like, fuck that, I'm going to drink an energy drink, it's not going to work. We are killing ourselves from the inside out. And then when we see I failed, when we see I fucked up, I couldn't do it, I couldn't reach my goal, I couldn't do this. Fuck it, I'm going to go drink. I'm going to go do this. I'm going to do that. I'm going to relax. I'm going to do whatever I need to do to disappear. To not be myself. And that's the problem nowadays, is that nobody wants to be themselves. Hell, like I said, when I was younger, I hated myself so much that I would fog up the mirrors so I didn't have to see myself. That was the worst thing I ever done, was fog up the mirror so I didn't even have to look at myself in the mirror. Now imagine the extremes people are going through just to not be them, just to not think, just to not be in this suffocating fucking world. Me personally, I love life. Me personally, I care for it. It's my everything. It's my all. I get on platforms and chat rooms and you see how many numbers. You see the number. It's like I got into a chat room. 4 million people are in there. Guess what the chat room was about? It was about being lonely. The chat room was particularly made for people that were lonely and wanted to use that chat room to talk to people, to have a sense of human connection, to have this sense of love. I go to another chat room about depression. Guess how many people are in there? 25 million people. I go to another chat room about anxiety. 15 million people. PTSD, 13 million people. The list goes on. It makes you fucking sad when you click on these things. You click on these forums or whatever you're on. And you actually see how many people are active. You actually see how many people that use this thing on a daily basis that need this chat room or this website to survive. Then I, let's say, go to something a little bit more positive, energy, mindset. 5,000 people, 10,000 people, 25,000 people. You go to the mental illness section, 50 million people, 120 million people. The mental illness section should never outweigh the mindset section. Should never outweigh the positive section, the love section, that self-improvement, self-help section. But it does every day. I remember one friend I used to have, he didn't know how to communicate with me. And the only way he taught me how he was feeling, he would send me a song of how he felt to show me, to let me in. I go to the song and I immediately saw that the song had 50 million views. So I clicked on it. Not knowing what the song was, I was intrigued. What made this song have 50 million views? I click on the song and I listen to it, and the lyrics are about slicing wrists, cutting each other, killing each other. Killing oneself, drinking, depression, anxiety. That's what the song was about. And I go into the comment section and it says, instead of dying today, I decided to put on this song. Instead of crying today, I decided to put on this song, etc., etc. And just that alone, it made me cry, because we don't realize how much people are struggling out there. How much people need somebody, need help. They go to substances to feel free. It's sad. It's sad. Me personally, I've been experiencing a lot of loneliness. A lot of wanting intimacy. A lot of wanting to hug people, to talk to people again. You know, I've been staying in my house a lot. I've been digging myself into this hole. And I'm noticing it. Like, I'm truly noticing it. Like, I'm not going out as much anymore. And I'm realizing I'm going back into my old ways. And it makes me think about all the other people that are going through the same thing. That are begging, screaming for help, screaming to get out of this fucking cage. And wanting to experience a field, light, love, flowers, whatever. And they can't, because their mind just holds them back. These demons hold them back until it's too late. Until they take a Molly too much. Or till they cut a little bit too deep. I know religion is a taboo subject. Me personally, I have a true connection with God. I love God with all my heart. And I know not a lot of people out there believe in religion, and I completely understand. And me personally, God is sacred to me. I don't usually talk to him with a lot of people. And I especially do not share my prayers with them. I feel like with the time we're at in life, and to know that DMX was such a God-fearing man, just to know that there's so many people out there that probably just need a prayer, that need to hear something. I want to take this time to connect to God and just say a prayer and end this episode off like this. Dear God, please help everybody that is struggling, that is going through mental illness, alcoholism, fear, self-doubt, pain. This world can get extremely lonely. This world can get extremely painful. I know from firsthand 8 years of absolute hatred, 8 years of not loving myself, 8 years of just begging for freedom, begging for help, living in darkness, not seeing light for days, years, decades. But I was set free. I was set to happiness. I was set to love. But there are so many people out there that need help, There's so many people out there that need a light, a guidance, a friend, a father, a sister, a brother. So please, God, if you hear me, if you're listening to me, please help these people out there that just need somebody to lean on. Mental health, mental illness is no joke. Some of these people don't know how to guide themselves out of it. Some of these people don't know the resources to use. Some of these people don't have people to talk to. But God, if you're listening, please open your heart. Please help these people if they call out to you, if they call out for help. Show them a path, show them a way. Show them that they'll be safe. I pray that everybody finds happiness. I pray that everybody finds peace. And I pray that everybody can one day get together and just be happy. Not feel insecure. Not feel self-hatred. I pray that COVID goes away. I pray that everyone just can live life. So God, as I talk to you today, please answer our prayers. Please protect everybody in sight. Please protect their families. And pull us out these holes, these trenches we have put ourselves in. And save us from everything once for all. I love you so much. Thank you so much for listening to me. And I'll see you in the next prayer. Amen.